Last week we went on a trip to all of Astroneer's planets, we uncovered all the space snails and we unlocked the secret snail song. This week I want to expand the base and add a ton of automation which should help us with completing the game later on. Here's what I want to build: a scrap farm so that we can get all the scrap we need for trading, a tapper power farm using carbon which should provide a ton of free power, an automated trade platform which trades resources on its own, and a huge storage section for everything we're going to collect moving forward. Okay, with all of that being said, let's get to work on the scrap farm. Here I've got some large storages, a ton of medium storages and auto arms. We are also going to need more small platforms, or medium platforms rather. So we're gonna take some resin from here. And I'm also using the snails from last time. These are a good upgrade to our backpack. And I still have to use the drill mod 3 because best FR can get through most terrain but not the hard rocks in the caves of Atrox, and since our base is here on Atrox, I really need the drill mod 3 as well, especially through the caves. My plan for the scrap farm is to build an aluminum scrap farm. I've also found some aluminum in the caves pretty close to the base, but we're gonna need auto extractors for that, so we'd better unlock this. And for this we're gonna need exochips, steel, tungsten carbide and rubber. So the steel is gonna be an issue because we'll need argon and we don't have that here. So we'll need to go to Glacio and use our atmospheric condenser there. Alright, so let's head to Glacio. And we're gonna get all the argon we need from there. Okay, we can use this straight on the shuttle, so we'll set this on repeat as well. But we'll need some more power, so where's Rogel? Alright, let's feed Rogel in here. He provides 6 units per second, so that should be a good boost. We've also got a QTRTG and some wind power. And while this is collecting argon, I'm gonna collect some hematite because we'll also need iron later on. Let's also take some seeds from here. We can use these to feed our snails. So we've already got 2 argon. I'm gonna wait for the third one to finish and then we'll head back to Atrox. I'll throw all the iron on here to get smelted. And then we can start creating some steel. Let's see, we've got enough for 1 steel. And we've got all the other materials for 1 auto extractor right here. So we can go ahead and craft one. There we go. And that's probably gonna take a while, so in the meantime I'll make sure to smelt all of the hematite. And I'm guessing we're gonna need at least 2 auto extractors, so let's get some more steel then. So then I'll just set this on repeat and we'll get 2 auto extractors from there. We still need some more platforms. And I didn't know why it was so dark, but we forgot Sylvie on the shuttle and Rogel as well. So let's get some more seeds. I also have this little makeshift farm right here. But in a future video we'll build a huge actual farm with all types of plants. Until then, this will have to do. It gets us the seeds we need, so at least that's a good thing. And we can feed all of our snails, make sure they're all active all the time. So I dug this tunnel down until we hit some aluminum. And I'm thinking we will use trains to get all the aluminum in here. By the way, that's for the scrap farm. We're gonna do an aluminum scrap farm. We're gonna create an aluminum scrap farm which turns rail junctions into scrap. But for that we're gonna need a way bigger shredder, so let's get this out of the way here. And we should get all of these out of the way because we'll have our rail station here. By the way, we're gonna need to craft the rail stations as well, so we'll wait for these to craft and then we can look into what those require. Alright, so the extra large shredder is 5000 bytes. We have all we need for that. Oh, we have way more than enough. And for this we're gonna need 2 exochips, tungsten carbide and steel. We don't really have the exochips right now, so we're gonna have to go looking for them. Our auto extractors are done, so let's get them out of the way and see what we need for the rail stations. We're gonna need 2 of these as well, so titanium, copper, quartz. Alright. I guess we'll need some quartz then. There we go. And we can set this on repeat as well. I think we have some spare rail posts here, so we don't need to craft more. Yeah, we got some bundles. So we've got 3 bundles. I'm hoping that will be enough. If not, we're gonna craft some more. But right now, let's get started from the caves. So we're gonna bring our auto extractors into the caves using the rover. And from there, we can start setting them up. Just realized we could use an RTG here instead of the generator. I think we got an RTG in the last video as a reward for some missions that we did. So let me just throw it on here. So you'll see we are pretty close to some laterite. So we've got some right here on the left. I don't know exactly how big this deposit is, but if that's not enough, we've also got one up here on the right. So we're gonna use the auto extractors to test this and see which one's better for us. We're gonna take a look at the green bar on the side of the auto extractors, and the higher it is, the better the node. This is kind of half the bar. Okay, this seems to be lower. Yeah, so maybe up here. Yeah, that's about half. But it's gonna be much harder to do this here on the ceiling, so we're just gonna use the first node down there because they are about the same from what I can see. So we'll place both of the auto extractors on here. Great, and then we'll have auto arms grabbing the laterite right there and feeding it into the rail station. Once we have it, of course. Let's also connect these to each other if we can. And now I'll have to go back and get the rail stations, auto arms, platforms, and some storage, I guess. Yeah. Alright, so we've got auto arms, platform, storages on here. The first rail station is done, so let's place this up top. And that means we're gonna build our farm on this side here. Okay, we'll see, we'll mess with this later. For now, let's just unpack it there. And then we'll take the other one and bring it into the caves. We also have the rail posts, so we can build the rail. And then we'll have to see what we need to craft a rail car with a storage. We'll need a storage sensor. We're gonna make the whole thing automated. That's the whole point of a scrap farm, so we don't have to do anything and we'll get free scrap. Okay, so let's see. If the rails are gonna go up from here, the station could be on this side, and we'll see if the auto arms can reach into it. I'm guessing something like that should work. Let's get some storage on here, and we should get some platforms and auto arms. Okay, so let's see if this reaches. Okay, that's definitely good. All right. Okay, so this works. We'll connect all of these, even though we're not connected to the base yet. But once we connect it, we're gonna have power through all of these. Let's also get some laterite to put in the selector slots of the auto arms, and we can throw these on here. That means we can also turn on the auto arms. Alright, now let's get our rails, and we can start placing them down. Doing this will go all the way to the top. And there it is. We've got it all set up. Now we'll just need to connect this to the base as well. And I guess we'll just steal a rail car from here. All we have to do is connect the power and turn the auto extractors on. I'll just connect it like this, so we have some power going through there. Okay, and for the extra large shredder we're gonna need steel and tungsten carbide. We already have those, but then we're also gonna need 2 exochips. So let me grab the rover and I'll go exploring for some exochips. Let's unlock the storage sensor as well, and we're gonna need zinc and quartz to craft this. I think we have both of those. And then we'll also need a proximity repeater, but I think we have one of those. Yeah. So the way this is gonna work is I'm gonna place the storage sensor right here, and then the proximity repeater will activate. Actually, I think I can just do that, yeah. Alright, so we don't actually need the proximity repeater. I'll throw it on the side here. Let's get some medium storages so I can show you how this works. Basically, I'll place all of these on here. Now, this storage sensor should be set to full or empty. So anytime this whole storage is either full or completely empty, it will activate the car and it will go to the next rail station. Now we'll set the one on top to unload stopped cars, and the one on the bottom will be set to load stopped cars. So let's go ahead and do that on the bottom too. Let's also turn these auto extractors on, and they should start collecting laterite, which will get placed right here. And then this one will be set on load stopped cars. So anytime the car comes down here, it will get loaded with laterite. And once the cart is completely full, the storage sensor will activate and it will send it to the top to get emptied. And this will happen over and over again, essentially getting us infinite laterite up top in the base. Now we're gonna get the laterite on these storages right here, so that means we'll need some auto arms to take it off, and we'll need to feed it into smelters. So let's set up 2 auto arms here that take the laterite off. And I've also completed a mission. I don't really know what it's about, but let's check. We got a large resource canister. Okay, that will come in handy. Maybe we can use this to collect a ton of scrap in here, or we'll find something else to use it for. I don't know, but I'll keep this in mind. It could also be good for the automated trade platform, but we'll see that later on. Alright, now let's set these up. We'll also put some laterite in the selector slots of these, just to make sure they don't grab anything else. Because, for example, if they grab the storage sensor, the whole thing will stop working. I will not turn them on until we have laterite in here. But yeah, just making sure they reach on there. Now we'll need some portable smelting furnaces. I've got one right here. Alright, the extra large shredder is also done, so we're gonna use that in just a second, but let me see if we can get another portable smelting furnace. We'll need 8 astronium for that. Well, I could just teleport to the core and get some astronium from down there. But yeah, I'll do that in just a second. First, let me just set this up right here. So we're gonna have portable smelting furnaces on here. Actually, let's also get a storage. Yeah, this should be easier this way. And there we go. This will place everything on here. The smelters will turn it into aluminum, which will then get grabbed by another set of auto arms on this side. Okay, so these auto arms will take the aluminum from here. I'll also set aluminum into the selector slots of these ones, and they will place it on another platform. Let's actually craft that. I think a medium platform B, or a large platform B rather. That should be good. So we'll need 3 resin for that. And we're also going to need an extra large platform C. So we'll get resin and iron for that as well. And we're gonna need this platform to put the shredder on it. Then we'll also need some small printers. I think at least 2. So there we go. Let's craft these. And while these get crafted, I'll also get some more medium storages. I think we'll set it this way. Then we'll have the small printers on the end of it here. These will be set to rail junctions. Let me see if I can find those really quick. Alright, so rail junction bundles. This is 2 aluminum each. And from what I remember, we should get 3 scrap out of each rail junction bundle. So that means 1.5 scrap per aluminum, and that's really great. We also need some storage on here. Alright, then we'll have another platform with some storage so that the rail junctions can get placed on here. We don't want them on the ground glitching through stuff and all of that. So we're gonna place them on a platform, and I think we'll have to move this a little bit further away, because we'll need to fit our extra large shredder as well. So let's see if this can be thrown over on this side. Maybe I'll get these a little bit closer here. So we'll need 2 more auto arms right here. Of course, these will also need to have items in the selector slots, so make sure you don't forget about that if you're building along. And we'll make sure they reach in here. And then we'll have the last platform right here with our shredder. So there we go. We'll connect this on here. And the train also has room to pass through there. Now we can set some storages. I'm actually gonna use the extra large one here, or the large one, whatever it's called. So we are gonna collect a ton of scrap. We might get the train a little bit higher so that we can build our automated trade platform on here, but we'll do that later on in this video. Right now, let's make sure everything is set here, and I'll also go to the core to get some astronium for some more portable smelting furnaces. So yeah, let's actually start this car. And let me go down with it to see what's happening, just to check that everything's working correctly and that we have no faults in here. Okay, so we are producing laterite. We've got it right here. This is set to load stopped cars. So we're gonna wait for the car to come down here, and as soon as it comes, it should get loaded with all of the laterite. Here it is. Okay, so that works. Now once it's completely full, it should go straight to the top because of the storage sensor. So we are gonna wait for it up there, and then we're gonna see it in action, going all the way from laterite through aluminum, rail junction bundles, and then scrap. Once you've built this, the whole farm works pretty easily. All you need is a little bit of power, and it gets you a ton of scrap instantly. Actually, in the meantime, I'll head to the core for all of that astronium I've been talking about. So yeah, let's do that. I took the train all the way into the core because we've got our train system, so why not use it? And I got a ton of astronium. I've already sent the trade platform to get us one extra portable smelting furnace, and here it is. So we can just place it right here, and now we can start putting items in the selector slots of these, and we can turn them on. There we go. Now we're gonna get aluminum, we're gonna place it right here. And once we've got our rail junctions, we're gonna place them in here as well. And that's gonna be a functional scrap farm. And this is just waiting to get empty. Once it's empty, it will go back down. Alright, we've got our aluminum here. There it goes, it will get filled and then it will come back up. And that's how we're gonna get all the scrap we really need. Once we've got a fully functional scrap farm, we can basically get almost any resource. And then we'll use astronium to get the other ones that we want from the trade platform. Once we have the automated trade platform, we won't even have to manually trade anymore. We can just set what we want and it will continuously go on its own. So with all of those upgrades, we will have an autonomous base. And from there, because we can get all the materials we want, then we can start building really big stuff that's gonna be really cool. And yeah, here we go, we've got the rail junctions in the selector slots and we are creating scrap. We should get something on there as well, but for now we'll just get scrap in this, and we can hold 400 scrap in this large resource canister. I'm really glad we got this as a reward for the mission. Great, now this is using quite a bit of power, so that's why we're gonna need a power farm, and we are gonna build that using tappers and carbon. We already have a small organic power farm on here that we were using to power our little section of the base here. Actually, we can hook this back up to power to get some more bytes. But what I want to do right now is build this thing, but larger. And instead of using organic for the small generator, we are going to turn it into carbon and then use that for the medium generator, because the medium generator provides 9 units per second of power. So if we just get enough carbon to feed into those, we're gonna get a ton of power. We also have more astronium right here, so I'll take this and trade it for more portable smelters, because we're gonna use those to get our carbon. Great, let's get some more portable smelting furnaces. And the first thing we're gonna need is honeypots. These actually create organic the fastest. And I think we are wasting some of them on this farm. I think 4 of them is a little bit overkill for just 8 small generators, so I might steal 2 of them. Let's toggle these off. And now we can take them and we can harvest these. So we'll see how this goes, but let's start planting these first. We've got 3 seeds so far. Alright, so we've got our honeypots right here. They are not fully grown yet, so we can't attach the tappers. So we're gonna wait for them to fully grow. Until then, we'll set up the rest of the platforms, and we'll also need to craft some more medium generators. So let's see what we need for those. We'll need aluminum and tungsten. I guess we can just steal aluminum from this production line. Alright, so I'll go get soil, we'll get all of our resin, and then I'll set up the platforms there. So I'll be back in just 1 second.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I've got the platforms right here, auto arms are ready, I got the medium generators all crafted, we've got 5 different portable smelting furnaces. I wish we could get 10, but maybe in the future. That's too much astronium right now and I really don't feel like going back to the core again. So all we need now is tappers, we've got 5 of them, so let's craft the rest. We are gonna be using 10 honeypots for this farm, and since 1 medium generator is 9 units per second, we've got 10 right here, that should be 90 units. So 90 units of power per second is quite a bit. With that we can power multiple automated farms on here. So all in all, we should not worry about power anytime soon. Now I'm just setting these up on here and they should all start collecting organic. Then I'll make sure I turn on all of the generators and we should be good to go. Okay, so they're all on and we should be getting 90 units per second right now. All we are using is 1 unit for each of these, and then the portable smelter uses 2. So we are losing 10 plus 5, we're losing 15. That gives us 75, which is a lot, and whenever we'll need more power we can just build another one of these right next to it, so we can double our power output. And it seems like it's getting backlogged already, so we don't actually need more honeypots or auto arms. All we need are more generators. So if we want to do that, we can just add another auto arm set on here and even more generators. That's gonna be a really easy way to get more power once we need it. In the meantime, the scrap farm has been going all along. We've got 46 scrap right now. We had even more, but I took like 20 scrap to use in the trade platform because we needed tungsten, aluminum and all of those. Okay, so we've got our scrap farm. We've got power right now. We've got more than enough. So the next thing we're gonna need to do is the automated trade platform, which will make sure we get all the resources we need without having to manually trade for them. The automated trade platform will also use some sensors, so we'll have to research all of those. But let's see, we've already got the storage sensor, and I think the only other one we need is either the delay repeater or the count repeater. I can't remember, but I'll unlock both of them. And then I'll check my schematics from back in the day when I made my first video about an automated trade platform. I'll take a look at that video and then we can build this one, because I really don't remember right now how to do that. But yeah, I'll watch that, gather the materials. I'll be back in just a second and we can start building it.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Alright, so after quite a while I've gathered all the materials we need. They're all behind me. I'm not gonna lie, this took like an hour and a half, something like that. But we've finally got everything we need. We've got large platforms, we've got all kinds of storage, trade platforms, auto arms, canisters, all of that. And we can now get started on the automated trade platform, which will take scrap from here. So whenever we don't have this enabled here, we are not collecting scrap, but we are actually sending it to the automated trade platform, which will be right here. I've just flattened this extra spot for the base. And I suspended the train tracks so the train can go over our whole setup here, because before it went straight through, so we couldn't build anything. But let's get started, and this is pretty simple. You can build this along if you want to. It's a really simple concept that will help you a lot when doing a ton of trading. So first up, here's where the scrap is gonna go. So if we enable output on this, we'll get a ton of scrap over here, or if we don't have this, then all of the scrap produced by the shredder will directly come over on this side. So then we'll need an auto arm, obviously, to grab all that scrap. Then we'll need another platform. This one should remain empty, at least for now. Make sure you connect everything to power, obviously. And then another auto arm on this side, which will feed the scrap into our trading platform, which I've set on a large platform A right here. Let me just turn this around. I like it better that way, but it doesn't really matter. So make sure you've got everything connected, and this is pretty much it. Now all we have to do is add 2 sensors, actually 1 sensor and 1 repeater. So let me grab those. So here's how this works. You'll need a storage sensor. Place that on the storage in the middle, or the platform. You can also use a storage for this, but I'm just using this platform, it's much easier. Make sure the storage sensor is set to full or empty. If it's set to anything else, this won't work properly, so make sure it's set to full or empty. If it's easier for you, both of these arrows need to be green, so if one of them is turned off, that's not good. You'll need both of them green. Alright, now connect this storage sensor to both auto arms. Just like that. Now use a count repeater and make sure you also connect your storage sensor to the count repeater so that it can count how many times the storage got full or empty. And now all you have to do is link the count repeater to the trade platform. Great. Now the count repeater is by default set at 2, but you can set it at whatever number you want between 1 and 8. And why do you want this count repeater, and why would you set it to different things? Well, that's because you're gonna want different resources from here. For example, let's say we need to get some sphalerite. 1 scrap is 2 sphalerite, so we will only send 4 scrap at a time. For efficiency's sake, we don't want to send 2, 3, and we can't put 5 on there, because the maximum amount is 4 if you want to get sphalerite. So that's why we could set this to 4. Now it will count 4 scrap. Once 4 scrap is here, this will activate, and the trade platform will send the scrap and get us back the sphalerite. But what if we needed to get wolframite? 3 scrap equals 2 wolframite, so we'll put 6 scrap on there. Well, pretty easy, we'll just set this to 6 and the same thing happens, we'll get our wolframite. That's pretty easy. Now I just realized this comes directly under the bridge. That's not really a problem, this can just glitch through it, but yeah, I might have to move the bridge, but I'll do that off camera if it's really annoying. One last thing, make sure you've got scrap in the selector slots of these auto arms, because otherwise they could grab the sensor and everything will stop working. And then you need to turn on this auto arm. So in the beginning, this needs to be turned on and this one turned off, because once this gets full, then the first auto arm will turn off and the second one will turn on. And once it's completely empty, this second one will turn off and the first one will turn on again. And that's how this all works. Now let's say, what do we need? What do we actually need here? Let me take a look. Yeah, why not batteries? I would like to get some lithium for this. So let's set this to lithium. And 4 scrap is 1 lithium, so we are gonna use 8 scrap at a time to get 2 lithium. Let me just set this to 8. And that should be pretty easy. Now all I have to do is enable output on this. And you can see it in action right here. There it goes, it's full. Now the other auto arm is turned on. And this count repeater is counting, so take a look. We've got 4 scrap on here. And this is counting 4. Now we are gonna have 6 in just a second now. So this is counting 6. And these are gonna be the last 2 before the trade platform goes off. One thing I forgot to mention is you should also place a scrap on this in the beginning, because this auto arm should have 1 scrap on top of it. But there we go, it launches on its own, it glitches through the bridge and it will come back with lithium. Now, if we want this to be automated, we can't expect it to come back with 2 lithium and we will stand here and take it off. So that's why we're gonna set up some auto arms to automatically take off the resources from here and store them in a storage area. And since we only have 1 trade platform right here, we'll use a single auto arm. I'll put lithium in the selector slot and this can transition it onto here. I will stand here with my backpack for now so I can collect them. But we're gonna have platforms over there to collect all our lithium. So let's start with this extra large platform C, and here's where we'll build our storage area that I talked about in the beginning of the video. Here we can store all types of resources, not just the ones we get with the trade platform, but any other kind of resource. So this is gonna be a pretty big area. I don't know if 4 platforms will be enough, but we can also add more later. And we might need to also expand this a little bit further that way. But for now, let's just unpack these. And actually I need to feed the snails again. So let me just harvest some of these. Alright, now let's get some large storage in here. And I'll also bring some canisters so that we can store a ton of lithium. And we can just use that to get a ton of sphalerite and a ton of lithium. That's gonna get us batteries. And we can build an even bigger power section for the base using a ton of batteries, while not having to collect any resources for that, because the trade platform will do all the work for us. So let me just unpack these over on this side. We can use 4 of them, why not? And then we'll just position the platform so that the auto arm can safely deposit our lithium in here. Now we can have even more large storages on this. When we decide we have enough lithium, we can just go ahead and change whatever we get from here. We'll also change the count repeater accordingly, and we can get basically an infinite amount of any kind of resource, because we are getting scrap without doing anything from the laterite deposit there, and then we are using that to get any resource we want over here. Now I know the laterite deposit will get smaller and smaller eventually, but all you have to do is move the auto extractor by a little bit and the bar will fill back up. And even if in some cases it can deplete completely, you can just move the auto extractors to a different node, and that's a pretty easy 5-minute operation. In the meantime, all your farms will keep on going. So I would say this is really infinite. Now let's get even more storage on here. We might require some more medium resource canisters, but we've also got a ton of medium storages, so we'll use those too. I'll move this one to the side, and all I need to do now is unpack these medium storages. I see the snails are eating good. They are actually really helpful, so I'm glad we got them in the last video. But yeah, I'm just unpacking these over here. I'm gonna bring the other 2 platforms. and then I'll show you the final product of our storage area here on Atrox. Alright, so I've set up all our 4 platforms. I left this empty because I don't really know if we want medium storages or resource canisters on them. We might actually add some more resource canisters, but we'll do that later on when we actually need them. And we've also got more large storages on here for a future video where we might want to expand this maybe. We also have extra auto arms and platforms, so we can do anything we want with those. And it only took me like 5 minutes to set this up. In the meantime, we received 12 lithium without really doing anything for it. So now whenever we are out exploring or doing anything, we'll just receive lithium in here. Even if we go to a different planet, this farm will still keep on working. And as I said, once we are done with the lithium, we can just change it to any other resource that we can get with scrap, and we're gonna get a ton of that without doing anything. So this is a really versatile thing. Of course, you'll need a scrap farm in order for this to work automatically. We've also got our storage here, and to make all of this work, you're gonna need a ton of power, and that's exactly what the power farm is for. As I said, we can also expand this in the future, so let me know what you would like to see in future videos. I would suggest checking out the Atrox series playlist. There you can find all of the videos before this one and after it from this series, or you can also check this other video on screen right here. Whichever one you choose, I'll see you there. Cheers, Astroneers!